You have a good GPA, you go to a target school or a semi-target, you've studied finance, you've studied your technicals, you've networked, but you still didn't get an offer. Well, firstly, and it sounds almost obvious, but some people just aren't good at interviewing. Which is why even if you have stellar grades and went to a top school, if you're just horrible at interviewing, you're likely not going to be scoring too many offers over someone who is a complete natural at it.
Sadly, that's the truth.
How I would avoid this is by doing mock interviews. They're probably one of the most important things that you can prepare ahead of an interview. By doing a mock interview, you have a practice round with someone who is not your interviewer. You should definitely be getting feedback from this person about your facial reactions, your body language, the way you're telling your story. Does it sound too robotic? Should you come across a little bit more natural? It's hard to tell when you're just practicing by yourself, and so you really need this other person. It doesn't have to be someone who's been through the process. It can be a friend, a sibling, a family member, just someone who's able to tell these social cues and give you feedback on what you might or might not be doing wrong. I've seen people who are naturals at interviewing, and time again, they'll secure 4 or 5 different offers, and they'll secure it over someone who has an even better GPA, better work experience, just because they come across really well during these interviews. Second, your story isn't good.
Let me tell you a little story.
Everyone has the same cookie cutter response when they ask you why investment banking. You enjoy a fast-paced environment, you enjoy high-profile transactions, you enjoy a steep learning curve, and everyone knows that that's the first thing that comes up when you Google why investment banking. And that kind of answer might get you through a first or a second round, but when it comes to a super day, and depending on your interviewer, a lot of the times people are looking for more genuine answers. I would recommend really thinking about the evolution of your story. Show that you've legitimately thought about the future of your career and what investment banking or whatever job you're applying for can bring you. Show a genuine interest. I'd recommend signing up for financial newsletters just to keep a pulse on how the markets are doing and show that you're actually interested. But beyond that, I would try my best to steer away from the most cookie cutter responses unless you have a legitimate story to back up why you enjoy a really steep learning curve or why you want to be part of high profile transactions. Actually have reasons instead of just spewing out the most common reasons that everyone else says. Third, your technicals aren't good enough. You definitely do not have to be a technicals whiz in order to pass these interviews. Most of the times it's honestly more basic stuff. And technicals are significantly easier now for students because there are websites like Financial Edge. For example, if you're interested in investment banking, they have a course called the Investment Banker where they actually cover accounting and financial modeling, valuation, DCFs, LBOs, the whole gamut. If you are interested in it, link is in my description box below. They were kind enough to give me a promo code for 25% for my viewers, so go check it out there. And I will say that technicals for investment banking, especially for interviews, are honestly something that you can study as if it was a test. You don't need to have a finance background. You don't need to have taken a basic accounting or finance class because I know not everyone is a finance major. And I also don't recommend just purely rote memorizing questions and answers because when you do get asked questions during an interview, they're going to be asking based on their own work experience, and while it's relevant, it's going to be a lot more concept based and you'll be able to answer it much better if you actually understand the concept rather than just rote memorizing answers. Fourth, you didn't network enough. A lot of times, networking is almost a rite of passage for Wall Street internships or Wall Street full-time jobs.
Ooh, why don't we grab a cup of conversation sauce?
And you might think that it sounds really fake, just meeting people for the sake of getting a job. However, what it does show people is that you're willing to put in the work just as much as the other candidates. It's not necessarily about trying to get everyone to like you and being the person who network with others the most, but it's about showing that you're willing to put in the effort in order to get this job. because everyone else is putting in the effort to do this, so why aren't you? If a firm knows that you've called with a lot of people and really put in the time to speak with people within the bank or within the team, they then know that yes, you're genuinely interested. You've spoken to a lot of people about their experiences, and while it helps to have really good conversations with all of these people, at the end of the day, for a lot of firms, it really is just a numbers game. If person A has spoken to 10 people, whereas person B has spoken to one person, person A looks like the much more genuinely interested candidate as a result.
This one really likes me. I've got an attachment here.
I also highly recommend trying to establish real connections. You are speaking with a genuine human being for half an hour or sometimes even more. Genuinely ask them about their experiences, share a little bit more about yourself, and being down to earth a lot of times and being yourself is what will get you the interview. And fifth, the last reason is that you might just be unlucky.
None of it worked out in my favor.
Everyone knows it can kind of be a crapshoot, but to be honest, recruiting is a little bit of a numbers game. Think of it as you shooting a basketball into the hoop. If you shoot enough times, even if you're the worst player, you'll eventually end up scoring a goal. And so not everyone ends up going to the company or the bank of their dreams. I can almost guarantee that if you put in the work in every dimension and you really network and you apply for a lot of different roles, you're likely going to get into at least one. So even the most unlucky person can score a great role. One of the most common questions I get is whether it's worth it to recruit and apply. And I would say so only if you feel that you have a genuine enough interest in going into investment banking or whatever career it is over something else. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!